Welcome to the Revolution of Purpose podcast. I'm your host, John Street, and each week we bring you conversations with thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and individuals who have aligned their life with purpose and created extraordinary results.
So I'm going to live through it and accept it radically with grace and hope and love.
I would be proud to be in this council.
It was an honor. I had so much fun.
Tune in every Monday for the Revolution of Purpose solo show and every Thursday for Revolution of Purpose Conversations. Welcome back to another episode of Revolution of Purpose Conversations. As many of you know, this show isn't just about successful people. It is about the journey that shaped them. It's about discovering what they're really here to do and the lessons that they've learned along the way. And today's guest is someone I'm really excited about introducing you to, because on the surface, you may see the show notes and think, oh, well, this is going to be a great conversation about fitness. But this is not just about fitness. No, this is a conversation about identity, about purpose, about serving people, and about building a business that aligns with your values instead of your ego. My guest today is Ryan Anastoplus, the founder of Poundcake Fitness. Ryan has spent more than 15 years helping over 1,500 people transform their health, but what really caught my attention wasn't his success in fitness as much as it was his philosophy. He believes that most fitness culture is built around performance instead of purpose, and that people aren't simply looking for better workouts, they're actually looking for a better life. And the more that we talked, the more I realized that we share something in common. Whether we're talking about fitness or business or relationships or purpose, real transformation always starts with identity. I have a feeling that this conversation is going to resonate with far more than just people trying to get healthier with their fitness. So Ryan, welcome to the Revolution of Purpose podcast.
Hey, thanks. That was very well said. I think we should just wrap it up. I think
I know, right? That was a great episode.
You can't. I can't say anything better than that. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. So, for those that don't know, Ryan is actually based in Okinawa, Japan. And so, what time is it there? We're filming this at 6 p.m. Central Time in the States. What time is it there?
Yeah, it's 8 a.m. for me.
8 a.m. the next day. Well, don't tell me what happens yet. I want to be surprised. So,
okay. You don't want to know.
What a great time traveler joke. So Ryan, I would love to start with a question. I know you've watched the podcast, you were telling me, so you probably know this one is coming, but who are you today that your younger self would be proud of?
Yeah. Okay. Any warm-up questions, or are we going straight into that?
Go straight into that, man.
There
is no warm-up on the Revolution of Purpose podcast.
I think that's a good question because... Well, I guess how much younger are we talking? Like last week?
Let's say 10-year-old Ryan.
Yeah, 10-year-old.
Looking at.
I don't know. I can't remember that. Let's look. If it was like younger me, let's say 20 years ago or something.
Okay. Is that not 10-year-old Ryan?
Oh, it is 10-year-old Ryan. Actually,
I don't actually know how old you are. So
that's actually 0 years old, Ryan.
Oh, there you go. Well.
Yeah, I'm only 21, so it's hard.
Ryan.
It's hard to think that. No, I'm 40, so if I think back in my 20s, what would I be proud of? I think a question might be like, would he even be proud of what I am today? Because there's so much about me and my life now and what I do now that's so different than where I was, that in my 20s. My younger self might look at me, see this guy who takes morning walks for his health and making sure he eats enough fiber and, talking about, purpose on a podcast on a Monday morning and say, this guy's lame. I don't know if I can curse, but you can. That's how my 20-year-old self would talk.
Be authentic. That's what matters.
Yeah. Because, everything that I do now and what my life is now, I don't think I would have thought that this is kind of where I would be. Because I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be in music. And I thought that I would just always be one of these, beautifully dysfunctional artists living on cigarettes and coffee and existential dread. And it turns out when you're the one living it, it's not as fun or it doesn't feel as good as you think. So, if you told me that in 20 years I'd end up, having a fitness business and coaching people for a living and being excited about sleep quality, he probably would have called me like a poser or a sellout or something. So he'd probably think I'm boring too. But at the same time, I think he would be surprised at how peaceful it all feels too.
Yeah. So would you say that your values have shifted since you were younger?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. In probably in a lot of ways, probably in more ways than not, I would say so. I don't even remember what my values were back then. I don't think that was something I really thought about or cared about. It was more just about trying to just live fast kind of thing. I didn't really care about the future. I don't think I even cared to live to 40s. I was just like, let me just go hard on everything and burn out. And that's kind of how I want to live. And then now it's like, like I said, I go to sleep early because I want to feel good the next day. Like
Yeah.
lame stuff like that, right?
So when did that shift start? Like that's a big shift. And I think part of that could be maturity, but part of it is some genuine like self-awareness, self-awakening. It sounds like you did.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's, when I think of everything right now, there's a lot of factors that influence my values and the way I perceive things and the way I live today. Like one of them, of course, is just health, personal health for myself. Another one is business. And then another aspect is just family and relationships. Those are probably the three main pillars for me that influence my decisions and the way I live today. And those were things that were non-existent back then. It was all just, I guess, trying to figure out, my place. And so I guess for the fitness part, I guess that was the first kind of domino. I didn't get into it because I, loved health or liked working out, but it was because I was told I was pre-diabetic and I had a fatty liver. And so I was kind of scared straight from that because like all I know about diabetes was you can lose your legs. I remember I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to lose my legs, so that was like the thing that I needed to hear to, you change or you're going to lose your legs. And so I that's kind of when I started to exercise a little bit and try to eat better and try to learn about nutrition. And I kind of genuinely started to enjoy fitness. And so I hired a trainer at that point, just probably less than a year into my fitness journey. And it was probably both the best and worst decision I made because it got me deeper into fitness and it also pushed me into bodybuilding, which was a weird thing for me. And then it got me into just obsessive dieting and a pretty unhealthy relationship with food and with my body. And, I had coaches. I had a number of coaches over the years, more negative experiences than positive. And, I had ones that would just greet me and tell me I looked fat that day and just constantly just made me feel bad about myself. And somewhere along the way, fitness stopped being something that improved my life. And it just became something that made me miserable. But I felt like I had to do it to prove something to somebody. And so there's a weird part of it that made me kind of love fitness, but it also made me hate a lot about the fitness industry and the culture. And looking back, almost everything I've built since then regarding Poundcake Fitness has been kind of a reaction to those experiences. I remember one of the first things I said to myself when I started was that I don't ever want anyone to want to get into fitness and come out the other end of it a couple weeks later feeling worse. That was like the only thing for me was to help people not experience that sort of thing that I did. And so in a way, the whole business was just built out of resentment. And a lot of, what I care about today and a lot of what I do with Poundcake just came from like feeling like there had to be a better way of doing things.
Do you feel like when you started training other people, it was more of, a job to train, help them feel better? And at some point, you sort of accidentally ended up being in fitness because you care deeply about people? Like, did your purpose for training others kind of evolve as well as you kind of matured and your values changed?
Yeah, definitely. I first got certified just as a way to get some extra cash on the side. I was working in music and I was writing and I was struggling to afford basic things, and so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try this trainer thing. It's easy enough to get certified, and then start taking clients. And so I started doing that, and I quickly got kind of burnt out of that. I mean, there's a reason why there's such a high burnout rate. Most people that get into the business don't really last very long. And so the reason I shifted was I was working with people in the gym, and most of these people, their goal was to lose weight. And we can have a ton of sessions, and they can make a ton of progress in their strength and all these things that come with exercise, but they would still struggle with weight loss. Because in the gym, regular in-person training, you don't really touch on the things that really matter for weight loss, like your eating habits, behavior change, all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of when I decided to move more into online and to be able to serve those people better through coaching them with the habit change necessary for fat loss.
Yeah. It's almost like, just from the philosophy that we talked about in our chats on WhatsApp, from Japan to Alabama, like, I would say that you seem like someone who gives fitness, but with grace, and with realistic expectations. And I don't think that you find that in a lot of fitness trainers. It's like you said, the trainer that told you you're fat, or you find a lot of drill instructors or whatever, but it feels like, or sounds like to me, that deep care that you have for people comes out in the way that you train them.
Yeah. And I think that comes from, I talk to so many people, and so many people are so deeply affected by their level of fitness or lack thereof. And so, I mean, you can't help but, approach coaching them, in a way that that's deeper than just throwing them a template or whatever. I think COVID, kind of brought a lot of coaching online, and it kind of made popular this model of like having, one coach to 100 clients kind of thing. And that came along with just, I feel like maybe a lot more visibility of these things on social media too. And so in general, I would say the fitness industry or just people in general often mistake compliance for proof. That if somebody follows a rigid plan for 12 weeks, because they're terrified of disappointing their coach, yeah, you'll probably get an impressive before and after photo. But that doesn't tell you whether the system was healthy or sustainable or respectful of that person's autonomy. It's just a coach-centered industry instead of it being a client-centered place. And I think it's because I had so many negative experiences as a client. That's why it just wouldn't make sense for me to go any other route. So these kind of approaches exist to market the coach, not necessarily to serve the client.
That is huge, actually. I've not thought of it that way, but to say it's so much of it has become a coach-centered industry instead of a client-centered industry. And you see that through the impressive snapshots of a before and after. But like you said, what are things after that? What are things a month after that, 6 months after that, a year after that? Is it lasting change? And does the coach even care?
Yeah, and is the person happy? Like, they could look impressive before and after, but like they could have ruined their life to get there, right? Like, like when we used to be into bodybuilding, like I was doing so much like crazy shit to get lean. And like, it was terrible. Like it didn't make me happy. I didn't feel good. There's nothing positive about it. And it kind of, messed me up for a number of years. Like I think it's still something I kind of got to work through. Just the body image stuff. And like, it messed up my eating and my relationship with food for a long time. And it's like, was that worth it for, a before and after to look cool, to have, be shredded? For the coach, sure. He probably got some clients out of it.
So is that where you got the name Poundcake Fitness? Because it's like a really tasty dessert?
I think at the time, well, there was a couple things. The first thing pound cakes reflect my philosophy for fitness, in that, the original recipe is just 4 ingredients. It's a pound of butter, flour, eggs, and sugar. Is that right?
Yes,
it's 4 ingredients. There might be milk in
well,
there.
Wait, I was about to say there's some liquid.
Yeah, there's got to be some. Okay, well, cut that.
But anyway, I know what you're saying.
4 ingredients. Each of them are necessary. Each of them have a clear purpose. And I think your fitness plan should be, just as simple and just as effective. It should be, everything you do should have a clear purpose and a reason why you're doing it. And it should be simple. And then I think at the time in the, early 2000s, the industry was very much like, was very aggressive and very serious. And so that really wasn't me. And I was trying to figure out like, how can I fit into this industry? And maybe it was just by purposefully calling my business Pound Cake. So that was the other side of it too. Just kind of trying to do the opposite thing of like the super macho, aggressive type branding.
Yeah, and I like that. And now I want some pound cake. So, but I'm not sure it fits in my macros for today, but I'm sure I'll have some before too long. But yeah, I'm a fan. I know you said when we were talking before, you had a pretty good pound cake recipe. So, I can always put that in the show notes if I need to.
Yeah.
So another thing that you said when we were chatting kind of before this that I thought was really cool is you mentioned that purpose evolves. So I love that thought because I think a lot of people almost accidentally end up in their purpose. And it's one of those things you can't really see it looking forward. This isn't what I thought I would be doing, but I love it. And I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I can look back and connect the dots looking backwards. Famous Steve Jobs quote, saying that you can't connect the dots looking forward, but you can looking backwards. So yeah, tell me more about that. How do you feel like purpose has evolved in your own life and how does it evolve in others?
I think, I don't know if I've been able to connect the dots, but maybe we can do it right now. When I was younger, yeah, we're going to try to figure this out. When I was younger, it was all about, just trying to make my mark and have a voice and, feel like I was being something worthwhile, and I expressed that through writing and through music. And it was just, I think it felt like this desperate, just clutching for straws and wanting people to know that I existed in some meaningful way and that I had something important to say, that kind of thing. Right. And I even, looking back, there was a period where I was even volunteering, at a crisis hotline. And that was probably the same impulse, just in a different outfit. I think I just wanted to matter to somebody at that time. And I don't really have that need anymore. And I think probably a big part of that is just probably after meeting my wife and feeling like knowing that I'm accepted by her, that was enough for me to like no longer have that need. And it's funny because like I kind of the writing, or at least the way I would write, and that feeling that I need to use it to express myself, doesn't really exist anymore, which is cool, which is fine by me. And then, when I was building, when I started Pound Cake, I think it was my purpose kind of became, feeling like I wanted something more. I was working just a regular kind of job, and I felt like I wanted something more than just feeling like a cog, and I enjoy working, so why don't I put that effort towards something for me? And it kind of just became, could I actually do this? Could I actually build something? And to prove that was, something I could accomplish. And then after I accomplished that, the purpose shifted again, because I think at some point I just felt like I did everything I wanted to do myself. And so I still get a lot of satisfaction. I'm really energized from helping other people. So I decided to, start working with a team within Pound Cake and then, supporting them and to maybe create something that's bigger than me and bigger than all of us. So I would say probably today is probably just helping people build meaningful things, whether that's their health or their confidence or even their own careers. And I wouldn't be surprised if that I have a different answer for that in 10 years, but I think it's been a long journey of just changing my mind a lot and just flopping around and figuring, finding out what feels good. And, I'm not one of those people that can say, from the time I was in elementary school, I knew I wanted to be a CEO and, like that kind of, I'm just figuring everything out as I go and just like up everything and just trying to put the pieces together as best as I can is
Yeah.
I guess there's something within that chaos that I sort of enjoy.
There is, and it seems like, I mean, I don't believe it was an accident that you were working in a crisis helpline. Like, I know that in one respect you're like, oh, I wanted the validation, but in another respect, people, they don't volunteer for a crisis helpline unless there's some part of you that wanted to help people change their lives or help people get healthier in a way and survive. And I feel like that's sort of a through line to what you're doing now with Pound Cake. You know, you're helping people who, without a fitness journey, are looking at a much shorter lifespan. They're looking at a much more depressing life, and you're giving them hope. So I think that in a way, your purpose could be centered around hope. You know, just because of the way that you kind of are offering that to people just in different, you know, different titles or masks that you're wearing, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, going back to the type of people that I meet and work with, you know, it's oftentimes they've done a lot of, you know, they've made a lot of attempts, you know, on achieving whatever their fitness goals are. They've worked with a lot of other programs or coaches, and it's only made them feel, you know, worse, you know, not necessarily, you know, because of they had like a mean coach or anything, but because they were trying to do things that weren't sustainable or things that weren't aligned with their life or with, you know, their identity. And it was just that mismatch of the plan. They're trying to do this one thing, but their life was this other thing. And that friction just made them feel like they weren't doing it right, that there was something that they were doing wrong.
Yeah, it throws people into a shame spiral.
Yeah, and it's the thing. It's like it's not their fault, you know. But they don't know. They just think that they're not able to measure up to something that they're supposed to be. But I think a big thing that I talk about with people is, you know, redefining what fitness is for you. Like it can be anything, like anything that makes you feel better, even if it's like going out, you know, for pizza or something. If that's something that is a net benefit, then that should be part of your fitness plan, you know. So yeah, having some independence. I think, you know, the fitness world now, in a lot of ways, it kind of rewards coaches for building dependence instead of building independence with their clients.
Absolutely. I think you see that a lot, especially with some of the fitness apps that are out there. You know, I mean, a fitness app only exists if they stay in the app. So that certainly makes sense. Please pardon me while I interrupt your podcast episode with a quick message. If you're enjoying today's episode, can I ask you one small favor? If you're watching on YouTube, just please take a second to hit that little bell and subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and share this. Share it with someone who needs some encouragement today. Also, if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, I need your help there too. I would be so grateful if you'd follow the show, leave a 5-star rating and review, and share this episode with a friend. These simple actions make a tremendous difference in the growth of this show. They help these conversations reach more people who are searching for hope, searching for purpose, searching for practical mindset tools that will transform their lives. And if you're looking for even more motivation, mindset strategies, and purpose-driven content, I would love to connect with you on social media. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at John Street Official. Also, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. Just search for John Street. And then one last very important thing. If you've ever found yourself asking questions like, why am I here? Am I living my purpose? How do I get unstuck in life? How do I take my life to the next level? Then I would love to invite you to schedule a free clarity call with me. Let me be clear. This is not a sales call. This is not a coaching call with someone from my team. This is nothing pre-recorded. This is a real one-on-one coaching conversation with me. And together we will explore where you are, where you want to go, and what may be standing in your way. My goal is simply to help you gain greater clarity, direction, and momentum in reaching your goals. To connect with me, to schedule your clarity call, or to learn more about the Revolution of Purpose coaching programs that I offer, please visit johnstreet.org or reach out to me on any of the social media platforms I mentioned. And now, let's get you back to today's episode. So, do you believe that for people to really experience kind of lasting physical transformation, that they need to also have like an identity shift as well?
I think yeah, it depends on the situation, but yeah, I think it does because your what you do, your daily actions you take towards your fitness need to be aligned with what you value in life, right? So if you value family, you're a mom and you work full time and you have 4 kids, like telling you to go to the gym 6 days a week and to meal prep and do all this full on, like you see on social media, maybe, like that's not going to work. Like, because now in order to achieve that, you need to like deprioritize your family and then put your fitness on top. And that's not a trade-off that I think is healthy. So it's finding a way that you can do sustainably and easily. Like something I hear all the time is like there are people being surprised at how easy it feels once we kind of figure out how to make it fit with their life.
Yeah. Would you say that you're
that
probably...
answer your question? I feel like I kind of went off.
No, I feel like you did. Absolutely. Like, because they shift their identity to someone who believes it's possible when you help them see that it can fit easily in their life. So no, I think that's true. And it kind of made me think that in a way, you're also a mindset coach. Like I'm a mindset coach and I help people shift their identities and see what's possible and face their limitations. And I feel like that you do something very similar. It's just your outcome is more based in fitness. I know I didn't with my own health journey. I lost over 100 pounds, but that didn't happen until I got my mindset and my identity right. Like I had to see myself as someone that it was even possible. This morning it was raining like crazy and I still went to the gym. Partly because I'm like, hey, I'm that guy now. And partly because I'm interviewing a trainer on my podcast today and I'm not going to skip the gym today of all J's. I'm going to go. I want to be a little bit sore while we talk. So,
Yeah. I mean, there's research on that, right? Whether you say that I can't have this versus I don't eat this, the way you frame things in your mind does make a big difference. And like you said, if you say that, hey, I'm that guy now, I'm a guy who goes to the gym, you kind of, even if you don't believe it, you kind of got to fake it till you make it,
I have a saying, be it and you'll see it. And so even if you don't believe it, just be it, do the action. And then eventually you're going to see those results. Even if the whole time you feel like a total imposter, just keep doing it. And eventually you're going to feel like that person because you're going to see the evidence. You're going to see it happen.
Yeah. Cause it's it's the habits, it's the daily habits and the actions that make you that person. And you're not going to be that person. You're not going to just shift and become that person overnight. You just got to be doing these things that feel foreign to you and feel weird. And eventually they'll feel more natural. And then suddenly, next thing you know, you'll be this person, drinking kale smoothies and you'll be like, what happened to me?
You're like, thank God I'm regular, but why am I drinking these smoothies? So, and I think social media, it tends to split like fitness coaches and mindset coaches into like different categories. Like with mindset, you have the Navy SEAL, get up at 4 o'clock, hustle harder, work 20 hours a day, or you have the really woo-woo manifest holder, just meditate, it'll all happen, And I know for me, I feel like that there's like a grounded middle for me, I mean, there's definitely manifestation, affirmations, all of that is very important, but you do have to put action with it as well. So have you found that kind of in fitness too? Because there are certainly the Navy SEAL, get up at 4 o'clock, or you're a failure of a human being like you talked about in fitness. But I think you're also bringing sort of a different type of fitness coach that, to be honest, I don't see very much of out there.
Yeah, no, mindset part's huge. I mean, that's like a big thing I do. I work with clients on mindset a lot. We have a mindset coach on the team who's great. So that's, to me, that has to come first, right? Like for like fat loss, and I'm sure you can identify is, and I can too, because in the early years of building Poundcake, I just went completely out of shape, and I gained a bunch of weight. I was probably about close to 230, so I'm like 170s right now.
I love it when people's like, this was my rock bottom wake up is my goal weight. but it's just funny. I'm like, I'm almost back to 230, thank God. But I was at 350, so that's,
Yeah. Well,
you're
probably
relative.
also taller than me, right? I mean, most people
I'm
are
6'1", that's true.
Oh, I'm like 5'6", so.
Okay,
Don't
gotcha.
cut that part out. I'm actually 6'1" as well.
I mean, you're 6'1" as well, 21-year-old Ryan.
Yeah. I was just I was practicing my slam dunks before this.
Exactly. Good for you.
But with fat loss, people always say, "Oh yeah, it's all about like how you eat and all this," which is true, but it's just as much about your mindset. So it's a complete mental game every day, right? Like it's all mental when it comes to diet, because it's a thing you have to do multiple times a day, is make these decisions around food and how am I going to live today, and am I going to make decisions that are going to honor and be productive for my goals or not, and it's hard, but if you can shift your mindset and kind of have that identity shift, it at some point becomes natural. I don't know if I can distill in a couple of sentences how to do that, but I think it's just a very individual process for everybody.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you realize it's important enough that you have a mindset coach on your team. I think any goal we're working toward has to have mindset involved, because we have to become that person. I'm a big believer in be, do, have. You have to become that person. Then you start to do aligned action that person would do, and you have the results that person would do. And now I've actually, on the podcast, I've been going through on the solo show an in-depth teaching of just a law of identity transformation, where we first awaken that we can even become the person to be, do, have. And so we awaken to that, then we become, then we do aligned action, then we create the person we want to be. And I think it's a continuation. Once we start to create the life we want, then we awaken even more that we can do it. It's like we're constantly proving to ourselves that we can be that person. And I think what you just said is so important about how it's one decision after another, because every decision is a vote for who we see ourselves to be. And if that decision's going against what we desire, then that's who we're actually voting for, is someone else,
Yeah.
I think that's
What do you
huge.
think is the hardest part? You're talking about be, do, have these steps.
Mm-hmm.
What do you find for yourself or within other people is the most challenging part of that?
Starting when it doesn't look possible, starting when you don't know what you're doing, starting when you're 350 pounds and you have gone 45 years of your life, the last 20 of which diabetic, breaking promises after promises after promises, and starting to believe it's possible. So I'm saying starting, but I mean really starting to believe in yourself, awakening to the possibility that things can change and that your past doesn't have to dictate your present or your future. And I think that's the biggest thing for anyone. Like for the guy whose business has failed 10 times, and so he sees himself as a failure, and then he gets in some type of identity loop of a failure. The hardest thing is starting again and changing and awakening that you could become someone different, or the person who is, 200 pounds overweight or whatever, or the person who, can't find love or keeps going through divorce, whatever that is, realizing that at some point we don't have to let the past dictate our future, and we can start again.
Yeah, it's tough because like you said, like all the evidence you have in your life is that you haven't been able to do this thing. And it's like, well, can I actually do it? I think of, it reminds me of this thing I read before. It says something like, you can't solve the problems of today with the thinking of yesterday or something like that. It's like kind of you got to change the way you look at things, and to change you just need a different approach, right? You got to really evaluate where you are currently. What is your life right now? And then find a way to just fit things within there without needing to become a whole different person.
Or at least taking a different step, not feeling like you have to take all the steps to become a different person at once. Yeah,
just like the smallest possible step. It's kind of one thing that's always kind of in a related way. Anytime I'm thinking of doing something that I don't think I can do. Like I remember this was advice my mom gave me when I was a kid, and it was something around like me taking like AP math or something like that in middle school, and I didn't really want to take it. I was like, no, I suck at math. And then she told me, even if you don't think you can do it, if you put yourself in a position where you have no choice, you'd be surprised at what you can actually accomplish. And I mean, I didn't take the math class. I mean, that's of course impossible. But that's something that I always remembered. And anytime there's like some kind of thing that I'm interested in and want to take on, I never feel like, yes, I can kill this. I can knock this out. But I just put myself in a position where I have no choice and I'm forced to figure it out. And then I'll do it, and it's just a complete mess and probably a complete failure. But then I'm like, okay, well, I did it. I figured it out. And then now I've learned these things from my first attempt, and then I can apply that to the second and the third and so on. And so I'm just constantly, I think, putting myself into places where I'm just having to struggle to figure things out. Otherwise, I won't do it. Otherwise, I'll just stay comfortable.
That's how you grow, though. You've identified that. That's how you learn. It's how you grow. So good for you, because some people won't do it. Like, you're a little bit outside the norm with that. Most people will avoid these uncomfortable situations, and that's why they avoid growth. And so you see that failure is not the end. Failure is a lesson. And it's like that sales technique that, it's like for every 100 no's, you get a yes or something like that. And they're like, my goal is 1,000 no's this week, because that means I'm going to get 10 yeses, something like that. And, I'm such an optimist. It's hard for me to aspire to that, but I do get it. And I think that, it's like that thing, just, you may not be perfect, but do it wrong, do it hard, do it whatever, but just do it. And you're going to learn from it, even if you fall on your face.
Yeah. It's, take imperfect action, like a lot of times, like it's so common in fitness where people feel like because on the surface, it's a simple thing, right? Just, why can't I do this thing? Why can't I just eat less and lose weight?
Yeah.
But, obviously it's not, it's not easy to do, but people are often, I think, feel like failures because they can't do this seemingly simple thing. And they feel like doing it any other way, doing it kind of imperfectly, reflects on them poorly.
Mm-hmm. When I started my fitness journey, I had a lot of gym intimidation. Like, I really did. Like, the thought of going to a gym. I mean, I didn't get near free weights till I was 50 pounds down. Like, everything was a machine. Planet Fitness, just the machines. The people who were actually doing the free weights, I was just scared of the entire area. What would you say to those who maybe they are wanting to start a fitness journey, but they're scared to death of the gym?
Start with what you're comfortable with. Like, the gym is just one tool you can use for exercise. There's so many other things you can do. I mean, just take a walk. You can do that, or work out at home, or maybe, the thing that's going to get you into it isn't even exercise at all. Maybe it's just something, diet related, or, maybe it's taking 5 minutes a day to, meditate or something. Like, there's so many other ways you can show up for yourself and to make yourself feel better that are less, imposing than a gym full of meatheads. Mm-hmm. So find the easiest path right now. Whatever it is, that's a little bit healthier than what you're doing now. Even if it's just taking a vitamin, like, it's something easy, taking a walk. But I would probably say, of all things, the thing that's probably going to be the most bang for your buck is some sort of movement, some sort of exercise. So I would say, to me, the easiest thing to start with would just be to take a walk. Just do that.
That's awesome. I love that. And that is a huge thing, and it helps. And eventually with the gym, I got to the point that I realized no one's really cares. Like, no one's actually judging you at the gym. Like, most people are just so busy. They're in their own world. They're doing their thing, knocking it out. And that definitely helped a lot. So
I understand it too. Yeah.
Oh, do you go through that? Surely not. You were a bodybuilder.
Well, I understand the feeling, because, like, I'm comfortable in the gym, but, like, put me in like a party or something and I would feel, completely out of place. Put me, so I get that. I understand that feeling for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually, and that's good to hear too, because there's a lot of different ways that we can feel awkward, and it could be a party, it could be a gym, it could be trying something new for the first time. Facing those things, if nothing else, just knowing that you can do it, just knowing that you survived it and you learned from it. You don't have to do it again if you hated it, but I mean, at least try it.
Yeah. Just think of it as practice. I think that's helpful too. Think of it as practice. It's not like something you got to nail perfectly every day. It's something you just got to show up for and try every day. That's all it is.
That's awesome. Okay, so I have a small rapid fire section for you, Ryan. So I'm going to give you several questions. I want you to answer the first thing that comes to your mind that is PG-13 or better. So let's start with this. What is one belief that you had 5 years ago that you've completely changed your mind about?
V-neck.
Ah, nice. Are you pro or anti V-neck?
I've been back and forth throughout my life. There was a period, I think, in the early 2000s where like V-necks were like, if you weren't wearing a V-neck, you were a loser, right? Mm-hmm. But today, I would not wear one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know that I have a V-neck. My husband Joe does. He has a couple, but I don't think I have any V-necks.
Yeah. Well.
So what is your favorite book?
Probably longtime favorite was Lolita by Nabokov. I was just a huge fan of a lot of Nabokov. Just the way he writes. The series I've been into lately has been Dungeon Crawler Carl. Me and my wife have been into that series.
Cool.
So I'm almost done with book 3 of that. So that's kind of been the book I've been reading. There's like 10 books in that, so I'll probably be reading that for the next 20 years.
Nice.
But yeah, probably those two come to mind.
So if I pulled up your television right now on Netflix or Prime or whatever your streaming service of choice, what's your most watched show right now?
It takes me a long time to get through shows. I watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes a week, but lately I've been watching Widow's Bay. That's on
Oh
Apple
my
TV.
gosh, I have a good friend who's in Widow's Bay actually. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Who
actually
is it?
see her till the last episode. My friend Sipiwe Moyo. She is the sheriff's wife. You hear her on the phone, and then the last 2 episodes you'll see her. Yeah, Widow's Bay is a
okay.
great show.
Yeah. So I've been watching that. Yep.
It's spooky, but it's really good.
Spooky, but yeah, it's also got good comedy in it too.
Yeah, it does. It's well written.
Yeah.
It's well written.
Yeah.
What does your morning routine look like?
I wake up. I try to get in some kind of outdoor walk, even if it's like 5 or 10 minutes, depending on what I have lined up that day. But I'll do that, and then from there, I'm just drinking coffees and I'm talking to clients or in meetings for all morning. So that's it. Yeah. Trying to squeeze in bites of food in between. So yeah, not a very healthy or optimized routine.
Hey, but that's okay. You're growing. You're growing through it. And I admire your honesty. You're like, it's not very.
Yeah,
Do as
there's
I
a time.
say,
There's a time for where I can be healthy, and then there's times where I'm not. And right now has not been a great period of health for me. Like yesterday, I think all I had was like a smoothie and a couple cookies and some pork rinds all day. So yeah, I'm in a period where my health is not the top thing, but it comes and goes.
But you're helping other people with their health.
Yeah, don't take me. I'm not a great example.
That's okay. Do as I say, not as I do. I get that. Yeah. I can be that way sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So just 2 more questions. First, Ryan, if someone is listening that they feel stuck, not necessarily with just healthier, but it could be getting in shape. It could be building a business, just wanting a better life in general. What is a piece of advice that you would give them?
I would say probably if that's a tough question. Is in fitness related, business related?
It can be, anything in life, fitness, business, anything in life. If they're just feeling stuck.
Yeah. I would say, don't hire a coach to fix how you feel about your body. That's something that you have to do on your own. Mm-hmm. And don't start a business because you think it's going to make you immediately rich. I did both, and both went sideways before I found the right way.
What is the right way?
I don't know.
I was just ready for a golden nugget right there.
I don't have golden nuggets. I'm honestly, everything I've built with fitness or within, coaching or with the business is I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure it out, man. Like I've won a lot of games that made me miserable, and there's so many business coaches out there, and fitness coaches out there as well, and they can give you tons of advice, and you can have tons of knowledge on all of this, but unless you know how to apply that specifically in your life, in your unique life, in your unique values and your perspective, unless you know how to apply all this information, all these principles, until you learn how to do that, you're only going to keep winning games that make you miserable.
There's the gold, Ryan, right there.
There you go.
That
You
was the
pulled it out of
golden
me.
nugget. I knew it was in there. That was outstanding, and so right. It's all about identity and not trying to fit everyone else's solutions into your problems.
Yeah, you got to find your own way through it. And it's not going to be like, I don't think, well, at least for me, like it's something I still struggle with, like trying to figure out, what is this, like just calling myself an entrepreneur or CEO or whatever. I don't think of myself that way. I feel like that's sort of kind of a cringy thing to call yourself, even if it is what you do. There's just this kind of duality within me where it's that side of myself, but then the also other side that's like, anti-establishment kind of person at odds in my head all the time, So yeah, I don't think it ever gets easier.
Well, I appreciate it. Again, I appreciate your honesty, but especially your authenticity, Ryan. I mean, you are yourself, and that's refreshing. Last question. What is one thing about purpose that most people are missing?
It might be purpose itself, honestly. I mean, it's not something we think about. We get so caught up in our lives and whatever that, just being busy in our lives and trying to maybe just measure up. It's easy to use these yardsticks that are meaningless, right? Like the number on the scale, it's a meaningless number. Or like, what other, what your peers appear to be doing, what people on social media are doing. We compare our lives to these fictional things, and we get lost in that, and our purpose becomes a performance for other people. So I think just having really thinking about what it actually is and having one is, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but to me that was something that was hard to figure out. So I don't know if other people feel the same way or if I'm just the one guy that's struggling out here. I think just having purpose, figuring out what that is, and also being able to reflect on things on a regular basis to make sure that your life and your actions are always in alignment with whatever that is.
That is so huge. Alignment is so important. And and we can't be in alignment if we're not being authentic. We can't be in alignment if we're constantly comparing ourselves to everyone else on social media. Comparison really is the thief of joy. It really is. Comparison is the thief of joy. And we can't be in alignment if we're not being ourselves. So thank you, Ryan. Thank you for being here and for being yourself and for all of your authenticity and your honesty. This has been an amazing interview, an amazing episode. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way to do it? What are your social media handles? I'll also put these in the show notes as well.
Yeah, just Instagram, poundcake.fitness. You can find me there.
Poundcake.fitness. That is outstanding. And I can guarantee that is the only Poundcake Fitness out there, I'm sure, unless someone's spoofing your account. But yeah, no one else has a Poundcake Fitness account. Well, awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of Revolution of Purpose. I hope that you got a lot out of this. Go follow Ryan on Instagram and make sure to tune in Monday for the solo show as well, when we continue a deep dive into mindset work, identity, and transformation. Thanks so much. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, if it challenged you, or if it helped you see your life a little bit differently, would you do me a favor? Subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating or review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Every share helps us reach more people who are searching for hope, purpose, and a life of greater meaning. And if you're ready to stop wondering what's next and start living with greater clarity and purpose in your own life, I would love to meet with you personally. Visit johnstreet.org right now to schedule your complimentary live purpose and clarity call with me. Until next time, remember, your purpose is not something you find. It is something you awaken to, and then you choose to live it. Go make today another step in your own revolution of purpose.